Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Justin Shrimp channel. So yeah, I just want to do a little update here. We got lots going on in the shrimp room. Lots of it happened over the last week, and yeah, let's dive into it. So first thing is this tank here. It's been going for over a month now, so I think today is July 29th, and we started this over a month ago, so about 40 days ago. As you see, I guess in previous videos or posts, we had a lot of green walls. This tank was looking nice and green walled out, but unfortunately the limpets took over. So limpets have become a big pain for me, and I totally dislike them now. I know in the regular fish world, limpets are a sign of healthy aquariums, and I appreciate that, and it's always a good sign. But when it comes to shrimp tanks, when you got no fish predating on the limpets, the limpets grow out of control. And I've learned that with shrimp tanks, you want to have green walls for those baby shrimp to have unlimited supply of food. But yeah, the limpets will destroy your tank if they get out of hand. And so yeah, we have basically lost all our green walls in this tank here. I'm just about to reset it, so I turned off the filter. We just have the one of them fluval AC20s in the back, and then and all that. We're also got some float valves and stuff. We're gonna play around and trying to still figure out if I want to do float valves or get some of those electronic auto top off machines. So I'm kind of debating on that. But yeah, you can see here, look at the limpet outbreak. Still a little bit of green algae left, but look at that. That is just unbelievable how the limpets, they just took over. They totally multiplied. And I do have an assassin snail in here as well somewhere. I bought 2 assassin snails, and they totally took over. Or the assassin snails haven't done much to these limpets. I don't think they're even probably capable of eating limpets, because this is the way the assassin snails feed. They got to have an open snail shell where they can go in and burrow in with their big alien-looking jaw mouth that they'll burrow into snails, and they'll feed from the inside out. So I don't even know if assassin snails will take care of limpets, because the limpets have a nice strong shell on the outside, and there's real no way to crack that shell, because that's not how assassin snails feed. They don't burrow through the shell. They go up through the opening in the shell, and they eat the insides out of the snail. So yeah, unfortunately, we're gonna have to reset. I'm just very tired of limpets, and I want to get rid of them. Pretty much all my tanks have them, and yeah, it's not a fun thing to deal with in shrimp tanks anyway. When you're trying to get a nice healthy shrimp tank with lots of green walls and everything for your shrimp to breed. So this tank here, we got our first Caridina shrimp about a week ago, 9 days ago, and they're doing pretty well. Learning a lot about how they operate and everything. They've put on some size, definitely grown a lot in the last week. A couple of them there. These are called Sunset Boa crossed with red Stardust. I particularly like a fishbone pattern, so the seller was gracious enough to throw in some of these Sunset Boas with more of a fishbone pattern. I know fishbone patterns are, considered lower grade boas, but that's fine with me. I'm happy just to have the boa gene in my shrimp here for future projects going forward. These guys, it's been interesting to watch. This tank was cycled well over 2 months before I put the shrimp in, and there's so much food in here still that it's unbelievable. I've tried feeding them different types of foods, and they just don't even touch it because they're so full. they eat, and they're so full. And I've noticed they're not super active, so I think they're just completely stuffing themselves every day, and they're just like, and that's why we're getting some awesome growth on them. They're growing really big. We just added that air zone in there for a while because this filter, it's already getting plugged up after 2 months. So we had some issues where the water wasn't flowing out as much. I took the filter apart and opened up some of the pores, I guess, in the filter material. It's acting pretty normal now though, so that's good. But before, we were getting barely a trickle coming out of this filter. But yeah, these shrimp are really beautiful. Under this particular light, they're pink, kind of a pink color, and with other lights, they kind of have an orangish tint to them. But they're really unique. The one on the bottom there has kind of more of a red body, and all the rest have kind of a black body. So these are just two. I bought 5 of them. And it's looking like we might have maybe two females, and the rest are males. So 3 males and 2 females is what I'm kind of seeing as far as how they're doing. Let's see if there's usually some hanging out underneath this coconut husk. But there's another one there. So yeah, they're getting. I think they're getting more comfortable in their tank. They're doing a really good number on all that green algae on the bottom of the tank. But this tank also has the limpet problem. You can see on the glass how the limpets are destroying my nice green walls. So yeah, we're just gonna at some point here, I'm just gonna reset probably all these tanks and just be done with it. And pH on this tank has been interesting. I've been dosing it, and the shrimp have been doing okay with dosing. So that was something that I tried that I wasn't sure was going to happen. You know, these are very sensitive shrimp, and they're very expensive as well. So, you know, taking risks on dosing a tank with pH down, you know, is a gamble. But they've been doing pretty good. This tank here. The pH range, typically every day when the lights come on, the pH goes up to about 6.0 to 6.1. And then what I do is I'll dose it down to like 5.9 to 5.8. And then once the lights go off, that pH will drop down to like 5.7, 5.6. So far, I've had the range of the pH in this tank from 5.3 to 6.1, and the shrimp have been doing well in there, so that's a good sign. You know, we're playing with fire, messing with all the parameters like that a little bit, but anytime I change parameters, I'm going very, very slow when that happens, so nothing's too shocking. The temperature in the shrimp room has been very, very stable, and also the TDS has been stable. So this TDS on this one is at 122 today. That's another thing with dosing. You dose, your TDS will rise, you know, very slowly, 1 or 2 points when you do that. So you got to be aware of that as well. So when it comes to top offs and all that stuff, it's just all that water chemistry. You want to make the transition of adding new RO water and all that stuff is non-shocking as possible. This tank is just totally ready to go and cycled. We cycled it at the same time as this tank. I just let the front glass, the green walls, just grow out in it because it's not in use right now. There's no shrimp. This tank here, we had. Sorry about the blurriness. We had some different. We had the UNS Contra soil in here, 5 liters of it. We had it in there for about a month, and I decided to order some new soil. and test out some new soil. So I just removed all that other soil that I had. That soil was still good. So what I did is I just took a big screen, I took the soil out, and then I brought it outside and let all that soil dry in the sun. And it's perfectly good, brand new soil still. So I'm really happy with the way that worked out. It didn't turn to mush or anything. So that soil can be reused at one point in time. But the UNS Contra soil, you know, the pH is still pretty high. So what we have in here is, it's called Shrimp Soil Pro. And it's from Rare Shrimps. And it's supposed to buffer down to 5.2 to 5.8. But I'm just not seeing it, you know, unfortunately. It's at least the way I have it set up. I just have, it was recommended to do 1 liter of soil per 10 gallons. These are 14-gallon tanks. So I put in about 1.5 liters of soil. Just a pretty thin layer, probably an inch on the bottom. And, you know, of course, we just did the normal process, adding bacteria powder and all that stuff. But the problem is, I'm really not happy with the pH, is what I'm seeing in here so far. So we have the probes hooked up to this tank right now, and this is what we're getting. So I like to start, when I'm cycling a tank, I like to have the TDS up to about 150 or so. And then as you get ready, I'll drop it down to 110 or 120. But yeah, look at that pH, 6.2 on this particular soil. So it's called Shrimp Soil Pro. So far not good with this particular soil as far as pH goes, or this type of setup. Maybe with the UGF box it'll be different. And I'm also experimenting a little bit too with the UGF box with that soil in here. So what we got going on in this tank is the oldest tank of all of them. Started cycling it on May 5th. So it's almost been 3 months. This tank is ready to go with, I could add shrimp right now. But we added this, this is a breeder box for fish. All it is basically, it's a UGF box. And there's like a grate, plastic grate underneath the soil there. And the concept for fish breeding is you would put a breeder mop or a plant on top of that with no soil in it. And then the fish will spawn in the plant, and then the eggs will drop down into the box, and then the eggs will get sucked out through the tube here. And then you would have this, you'd have this on the outside of the tank going into another box where you could capture your fish eggs, like for fish that are egg-bearing fish. So I'm just kind of testing this out as a UGF box. And there's about an inch deep of soil in there. So it's probably like a quarter of a liter of soil. Normally the pH in this tank, we have a mixture of UNS Contra soil and fluval stratum, very thin layer on the bottom. And the pH was at 6.0. That's untouched, undosed with pH up and down or anything. And since I added this UGF box about a week ago, the pH is now at 5.9. But so we're testing them to see if this box will bring down the pH a little bit. So let's see what else. Our Neo Caridina shrimp tank has been absolutely on fire. The breeding is just insane, and I'm afraid that we're gonna be too overpopulated here soon. But I'm new to all this shrimp keeping stuff, so I've read that, you know, the shrimp will kind of turn themselves off from breeding once they're, you know, reaches a certain capacity, you know, in the tank. But we're doing weekly water changes here, so, you know, we're trying to minimize any kind of spikes. But you can see there's babies over the last few days. Man, I think I counted like 35 new babies. So we went from 8 shrimp in May, and now it's July 29th, So we went from 8 shrimp, and there's I don't know, there's probably 80 shrimp in here now. 80. 80. And they're growing up big, and they're super healthy, and yeah, we're getting some really nice, beautiful baby shrimp here. So at some point, I'm just gonna have to start selling some shrimp or giving them away for free locally. But yeah, we don't know what we're gonna do with that. If there's any interest, let me know. You know, I'd be willing to like just give them away for free as long as somebody pays for shipping. You know, I could ship them out. But if you have any interest in these shrimp, let me know, man. Please. There's lots of females and males. It's very easy to identify females. You can see the saddle. A lot of them have a really cool white stripe on the back. So if you wanted some shrimp, some of these red cherry shrimp with the white stripe, you know, we could definitely come up with that. Fish are doing amazing. There's Stud Boy right there. I got a name for all the fish. Stud Boy and Crazy Mary. Crazy Mary has crazy eyes, so that's why she got her name. You got Big Mama there. Yeah, there's eight albino cherry barbs in here, and yeah, they all got their own behaviors. It's pretty amazing watching fish just naturally be themselves in their own environment. Yeah, doing well. We also have an assassin snail in here, and he's been doing decent work. There's a lot of trumpet snails in here that I'm trying to get the population down. Nice ram's horn, blue ram's horn snail there. That assassin snail is probably, this ram's horn is probably too big for the assassin snail to go after, but we'll see what happens in the future. At this point, I'm just really sick of snails, to be honest with you, and limpets. Trying to raise shrimp, not snails. You know what I mean. But yeah, just thought I'd give you a little update here on the shrimp room. Things are moving forward here. And yeah, thanks for checking out the video. We'll catch you on the next one. Hope everybody's doing great. Hope everybody's shrimp are healthy and thriving. And yeah, take care, everybody. Peace.